It's no secret that drones have played a central role in nearly every success Ukraine has had against Russia. Thanks to drones, Ukraine managed to decimate a third of Russia's Black Sea fleet and carry out repeated long-range strikes into Russian territory, effectively weakening Putin's war machinery. Now, Ukraine's drone program is undergoing a massive transformation. As of July 7th, a study by the Georgetown Security Studies Review and the Atlantic Council revealed that Ukraine has increased its drone production by a staggering 900% compared to 2024. Where Ukraine once produced about 20,000 drones per month, it's now manufacturing over 200,000 monthly. If this pace continues, Ukraine could end 2025 with over 2.4 million drones in its arsenal. This explosion in production places Ukraine in a powerful position. Defense Express reports that 200,000 drones per month has become the new baseline for Ukraine, and this figure may continue to grow with increased investment and the establishment of long-term production mechanisms. However, one major hurdle remains. Many of Ukraine's drones still lack patent protection. While the 2022 to 2023 data may not reflect recent improvements, and some of this may be intentional to keep blueprints from Russian eyes, intellectual property rights are still essential. Patents or standard operating procedures are crucial to ensure consistency, quality control, and collaboration with allies and external manufacturers. To sustain and expand its drone production, Ukraine also needs financial stability. Long-term contracts with domestic manufacturers would allow for better planning, hiring, and investment. Such contracts would create a stable foundation that enables focused drone manufacturing without financial insecurity. Additionally, Ukraine is forming international partnerships to further strengthen its drone capabilities. Overseas manufacturing offers another layer of protection from Russian attacks and secures Ukraine's ability to maintain and scale drone output. One notable partnership involves SwiftBeat LLC, a new drone company founded by former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. This company is reportedly capable of delivering hundreds of thousands of drones to Ukraine by the end of 2025. These drones include interceptors, reconnaissance UAVs, quadcopters, and strike drones, all vital to Ukraine's offensive operations. Just days before this, Ukraine also signed a military production deal with Denmark, allowing Ukrainian defense companies to build weapons, including drones, on Danish soil. This move ensures continuity even if domestic facilities are targeted by Russian forces. Denmark was the first country to fund Ukrainian arms manufacturing, and now becomes the first to host Ukrainian defense technology for production. Ukraine has also entered a partnership with the UK to produce Raybird drones, a model that has already flown 350,000 hours and caused significant damage to Russian forces. With UK company Prevail Solutions and Ukraine's Skyten working together, the expectation is that Raybird production will ramp up significantly. These partnerships aren't just about manufacturing. They give Ukraine's allies first-hand experience with the drone's capabilities, which could lead to foreign investment and potentially even allied countries manufacturing Ukrainian-designed drones for themselves. That would bring more revenue into Ukraine's defense sector, enabling further production expansion. Ukraine's drone surge is part of a broader defense industry boom. Since Russia invaded in 2022, Ukraine's defense production capacity has grown by 75%, with output increasing 35 times, from $1 billion in 2022 to $35 billion in 2025. However, a gap still exists between production capacity and procurement. In 2024, Ukraine spent $9 billion of its own funds and $1.5 billion from abroad on domestic arms, which means only about a third of its production potential is being utilized. More international partnerships could help close that gap. Currently, Ukraine's defense industry fulfills about 40% of the military's needs. With more funding, especially through monetizing drones via patents or licensing, that number could grow. And in a war where manpower is one of Russia's greatest assets, drones could become Ukraine's most important equalizer. Russia continues to replenish its forces at a rate of about 30,000 soldiers per month, without even fully mobilizing. Ukraine, meanwhile, struggles to find the 50,000 to 100,000 troops it needs. The Center for Strategic and International Studies argues that Ukraine's future military will require fewer soldiers and more drones, using them to replace human losses and maintain strength during a prolonged conflict. Ukraine is already seeing drones account for up to 80% of battlefield casualties. If roughly 1,000 Russian soldiers are killed or wounded per day, 800 of them fall victim to drones. This strategy is not only about reducing Ukrainian casualties, but maximizing the damage to Russia. In one standout operation, Ukraine used trucks to sneak over 100 quadcopter FPV drones into Russia during Operation Spiderweb, destroying around $7 billion worth of Russian equipment, including bombers and surveillance planes. At the core of this shift is Ukraine's desire to become more self-reliant. The relationship with the U.S. has been shaky, especially after Donald Trump's return to office. Military aid has been halted twice already, although it resumed again in July. Still, Ukraine is wisely planning for the possibility of that support vanishing altogether. A self-sufficient drone program, bolstered by international partnerships like the one with SwiftBeat, gives Ukraine a buffer against sudden political changes. None of this was supposed to happen, at least not in Putin's eyes. He expected a swift victory, or, failing that, a war of attrition that Ukraine couldn't sustain. But Ukraine has built a resurgent defense industry and dramatically increased its drone production. A 900% surge means thousands more drones, and potentially thousands more Russian casualties. With each new drone and every new deal, Ukraine is not only fighting back, but laying the foundation for long-term strength, investment, and independence. And perhaps, that's the true nightmare for Putin.